Greetings.
Greetings.
It's Sunday. What a beautiful Sunday it is.
Greetings.
Greetings. I
Greet.
recognize the voice, the sister. But for those who don't know, you can always introduce yourself. That'll be Sister Desma. Greetings, is that Roseanne?
Yeah, hi. Greetings.
Um, Greetings, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see
All
you
beautiful,
too.
all beautiful people. Greetings, who else is in the house? Is Dr. Robinson in the house? Okay, I'm just calling out names. So, Dr. Winborn, how have you been? Well, my engineer is here with us tonight. We have a wonderful show tonight, just waiting for to see who else is coming in to join us in the studio audience. Is Dashira here with us tonight? Yeah, I see what the studio look like. When Dr. Winborn is here. Greetings, Dr. Winborn. Glad to
I,
know that you're here with us.
I just here.
Okay, who else is in the corner with us? Send a picture. Who signed us a picture in the corner? Was that you as well?
No, we have a Miss Adams in the back room. We're about to let her into the stage.
Please do.
Hello.
Hi, greetings, Dashira.
Greetings. How are you?
This is wonderful. You made it because we do this kind of last minute. I thought you have the link, and then I not sure if you have the link. But I'm happy to have you on tonight. And tonight we kind of wanted to wait for a few more people, but we still want to have a conversation going, knowing that tonight we want to do. First, I want to welcome each and everyone to the show. This is Sadie Gomez of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Woman Auxiliary Local 26. It's a big mouthful. I know the women here, they belong to the Local 26. They also in the Woman Auxiliary. So I'm happy that these two women came on as well. We have with us our international president, Dr. James Winborn. But tonight he's just going to double down as the engineer, visitor, and he's going to be partaking with us as well. Our show is based on the comments that were made after the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was last week Sunday, but for those who were on the show, they were not able to really take in the Super Bowl as such since we were running almost side by side. But someone called me and said, "Did you see the Super Bowl halftime?" I was like, "Well, no, because we were doing our show." They said, "You got to look at this Super Bowl halftime and please pray for Kendrick Lamar." So I said, "All right, it's nice to want to pray for someone." But I said, "Look, I don't listen to secular music. I'm not sure who this dude is. Let me see what he's made of." So with that, I had to get into who is Kendrick Lamar. I know 2 weeks ago, I saw him briefly on the Sherry Shepherd show. She was about to come on to talk about the Grammys or something like that. But I just speeded along and I went along my way. I didn't pay no mind. As I said, I don't listen to secular music unless someone direct me to what is going on. So I have a few professionals who come on to know what's going on. And this is our show tonight, the Super Bowl halftime show by Kendrick Lamar. So I was able to write a few things down because, as I said, I didn't know this guy. But interestingly enough, I found so much substance with what happened on Sunday. at the Super Bowl. So I know I have Shira here with us. This is one of we have to hang out with the young ones in order that we don't stay too old. So, Dr. Winborn, I have the 30 something year friends. That's my spirit for this evening. But I want to welcome each and every one as well. So, getting into what's happening with Kendrick Lamar. And secondly, we do have a guest coming on to talk about the Ethiopian World Federation, because somehow we are moving on and moving up and questions are being asked. We were able to attract the Ethiopian World Federation. Local 26 Sunday Show was able to attract the Ethiopian community. So they did ask a question, what it is that the Federation is doing for the community. And of course, we got to answer and bring everyone into understanding what the Ethiopian World Federation does. I invited the international organizer to speak a few minutes on behalf of this question, and he was delighted to do so. Dr. Wimon, could you tell me if we have reached that junction yet?
Um, I thought I saw the international organizer popped in, but then he popped right back out. So let's see if he comes back.
Okay, because I know it's late where he's at. It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. So once he comes on, I will give him the opportunity to make his presentation so the hours don't wind down too late before he gets there. And later on in the evening, we would have our musicians fill us in on what's going on as well. So we have Shira here with us. And as I said, we are doing the halftime report, and the others who join in will tell us as well. So I'm happy to say that every generation, someone is selected. Sometimes they don't even know it to be that storyteller. I would say just a little generation above me, although I embrace him very well, we had Bob Marley. Bob Marley was a wonderful storyteller. But we are talking about rap music here this evening, which is the culture of Black Americans, and I guess brown and cream and beige and purple ones too, because everybody likes hip hop, that culture. But hip hop for some time has been watered down for whatever reason, and the art of storytelling was somehow lost after, I guess, we lost Tupac Shakur, who I had grown to love as well as a wonderful storyteller. And coming from a certain stock, he was not too afraid to say what he wanted to say by all means. But of course, we know in time with storytellers, we even had Biggie, and they were storytellers of their time. And we have been able to see what happened to great storytellers. It's quite unfortunate, but these things do happen along the way. So we want to talk a little bit about Kendrick Lamar, and I would like for Dushira to weigh in and give us a little insight on this young man, please. Dushira?
Yes. So first and foremost, I've been a fan of Kendrick Lamar since about 2009. That's when he kind of started making a buzz in the music world. Um, so I'm just gonna dive right in. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance was not only groundbreaking, but it was masterfully blended. Look at this, mommy. Look it. I'm sorry. Thank you. Can you fix it for me? I'm sorry, 1 second. My daughter's
Oh,
having a
that's okay.
meltdown.
We like to have the young ones because we are doing our show live, and that's a young one in training coming to the Sadie Sunday show. And I know in a few years from now, she will be the one running the show. So it's okay. We welcome our young ones. That's what we do at the Women Auxiliary. We train them from 3 years old. So it's okay. No apologies. We love the kids, It's a place that they can come and run around.
Yeah.
Yes, go
um
ahead, Shira.
yeah, but like I was saying, as a black man from Compton, Kendrick Lamar really utilized the masses and the massive platform to convey a message. Now, at the Super Bowl, I really saw um, like the symbolism he was incorporating, even in the choreography for his performance.
Come on, mommy.
Um,
Help me.
he conveyed a message that was deeply rooted in his personal experience and the broader African American narrative. Um, Lamar's performance was a vivid portrayal. I don't know if you guys heard what he mentioned in the beginning, but he was referencing Jill Scott's 1971 poem. He mentioned the revolution is about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Um, during this message, he really was emphasizing the urgency for individual change rather than, you know, corporation. The stage design and the choreography was very rich in symbolism. At one point in time, the dancers formed the shape of an American flag. And I feel like that was highlighting the complex relationship between
Mom,
African Americans
where's my makeup?
and the national identity. And I think it was so perfectly put together, especially Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Uncle Sam. And during Kendrick Lamar's performance, um, Samuel Jackson would come in and say, you know, do you really know how to play the game? And that his commentary really made it clear on how Uncle Sam, now we all know who Uncle Sam is, or Uncle Tom, or whatever you want to call it, the relationship between African Americans and Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam was basically the spokesperson for white people. And I feel like Kendrick Lamar really used his character to caution black people to play the game. If you want to live, play the game. But Kendrick Lamar made it clear that you don't have to play the game. You can be a revolutionary. You can be this person that speaks up for yourself and for your own people. Um, I really felt like the Super Bowl was his platform to send a message, especially with the presidency, Donald Trump, and everything that's going on. The revolution, you know, it will be televised. It's going to be televised. But you know, we're going to see who the real revolutionaries are as time goes on.
Shira, I love very much how you put that together. And from one brilliant mind to another, and listening to what you're saying. And as our panel is growing a little stronger, we are discussing the Super Bowl halftime. But what we are looking at, it's been quite a while since hip hop has raised the bar whereby we could understand a message in just a few words. Now, this have double meaning and, of course, a different interpretation based on who you are. There's a few words that resonate with us melanated ones. When we hear they are not like us, we simply come to attention and realize this song could really be about us. We gravitate towards certain words because we know there are certain truths that cannot be hidden. And Kendrick Lamar took 12 minutes to tell us a story that is 400 years old or more. What brilliance, what artistry, what vocal control this young man have, this young king, this young vigilant warrior, because every generation have to have one that stands up. And when we see certain ones standing up, you know what they do? They cool them down because I can't call names here because if I drop names I might be in the same kind of trouble Kendrick is in. But we want to say hey Drake because when we talk about certain things and we call names it's because we have receipts. But what was so amazing with this performance, as I said, I did not know this young man. It took me 3 days just to digest this information so I can bring some truths. And as I jokingly said, I was trying to write a few things to myself to know What am I going to speak of this young man? And what we say on Sundays, I would say, this is a place where the things that are normally swept under the rug, we take them out, we examine it, and sometimes we put it back. But I want to say today, Kendrick Lamar stepped up, took the rug, executed, destroyed the rug, and now we're just left with the content. So here we are. It's 2025, the year of nine. There is no more hiding anything. But how articulate? You want to send a message, and you look at the crowd. The crowd was basically a white crowd simply because black people can hardly afford to buy tickets to go to the show. You know how we say it on this side of town. But they will be glued to their TV because they're rooting for the Eagles because the Eagles seem to be, I think they're just like us. So you don't have to know football. You're eating some pizza, you're drinking some beer, and your team is the Eagles. And that's the Super Bowl for you with your chicken wings or whatever is your thing. But there I am watching a moment in time, a moment within the history, whereby a young man, knowing he has great music, he has the crowd where he won them, but he took an opportunity for 15 minutes of showtime where he's not being paid to express himself. This was no accident. He needed to tell us a story, what greater audience there was, and while everybody is thinking he's having a diss track with Drake, here comes Samuel Jackson, and there was just too many snakes on the plane. So I just love Kendrick Lamar. I just love what was happening. And I know what happens when a black man stands up. But let's celebrate the moment. To tell a story so great in 12 minutes, you get an A plus with that one. And I just checked out the fact that if a song has not been popular, not even a song, but a whole stadium could end the conversation by saying in a choir, A minor. I had to go and find out what was that. I had to be part of the conversation. I said, I think this went right over my head. So what I did first of all, I said, okay, let me go musically and see what it is. Because as I said, I do not listen to hip hop, so I don't know how the thing go. I had to get the young ones like Shira to unfold these things to me. But what was interesting musically, when A minor is played, only the white keys and the piano is used. I said, wow, Kendrick, I love your chain. I love your symbols. Symbolism is used within the community and within the world that we live in by the ones who pull the strings. But slowly, as we are lifting our vibration and we are functioning as 5D beings, as the ones that the Father created, there's nothing really hidden. We are seeing right through the whole thing. And Kendrick just blew it wide open. He's telling you there's a game. Who owns the game? Sony owns the game. It, it's a game, but how you play the game. You don't have to be part of the game to succeed because there's one above who sees and know it all, and he gives blessings. But if you caught up in the game have rules. Uncle Sam told you the game have rules. If you play by the rules, you can make it. And if you don't play by the rules, we will find some way to quiet you, even if you was just dropping it like it was hot. After a while, oh, how did he get so calm? Gets a handler and he gets calmed down. But we know how we talk on this side. We just love to talk like Kendrick Lamar. So this evening, I want to welcome each and everyone to the show. I do have uh international vice international organizer on the show. I want to believe my eyes are not deceiving me, so I want to welcome the international organizer.
Greetings. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Greetings. Happy to be here with you. Say it. Okay, give thanks. Blessed.
Happy to have
I'm
you.
here. Giving thanks. Just,
Well,
just
wonderful.
listening
Our
still.
international organizer is here with us because since we are moving up and out and above and in every direction, we have been able to attract the Ethiopian community. So a question was asked by one young lady, Mahel. I hope I pronounce her name correctly. It's a long name, but she will get the review. I asked if she want to come on. She can do so. I'm not sure she is on, but some people are on with the YouTube, so we're not seeing their faces. But international organizer, I want to welcome you, and I know you have a wonderful presentation in the Ethiopian World Federation. And this side of town, we get relaxed. We drink our teas. We have a good time. It's one black family. And we do this on behalf of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, Local 26, Women Auxiliary. On our panel, you'll see some women. Yeah, there are some strong ones from the Women Auxiliary of 26. So we welcome you to bring your presentation and we give thanks for your presence. The floor is yours.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Greetings, everyone. I would just like to say greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I the First, Rastafari bless. And I just want to introduce myself still. My name is Ruben Kush. I reside in Ethiopia. I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business in Addis Ababa. I'm a mechanical engineer. I have a factory and we manufacture different types of machines for the agricultural sector, the food processing sector, and then we also have our own products that we produce as well. So I'm very active within doing business in Ethiopia. I'm also a member of the Ethiopian Wealth Federation for 44 years now. I was born in England, Birmingham, where I'm actually in Birmingham at the moment, spending some time with my family. And I've been a member of the Ethiopian Wealth Federation for, like I said, 44 years. And what I try to do is to get ones together so that you can look and deal with issues that you have locally. And the Ethiopian Wealth Federation is an organization that brings communities together. Just a brief history of the Ethiopian Wealth Federation. Organization established in 1937. His Imperial Majesty, while he was in Bath in exile, a group of Harlemites came to England to speak to him about organizing and centralizing funds and any other efforts for Ethiopia during the Italian-Ethiopian War. There were funds being collected in America in support of Ethiopia, but there were a lot of charlatans. There were a lot of ones who were raising money and it not reaching to Ethiopia, which was a great concern. So His Majesty listened to the Harlemites, prominent members of the community in Harlem. And on their return to America, he sent his physician and nephew, Dr. Malako Ubayan, with instructions to establish an organization that would empower the communities, bring communities together, and assist in the fundraising and making sure that it reached to Ethiopia. So the organization was established in 1937. It's still going today. In 1937, funds was raised. Money was raised, medical supplies was raised, food was raised. It was all sent for the war effort. And in 1948, His Majesty gave a land grant to the Ethiopian Wealth Federation for the assistance that was given to the Ethiopian people. So we're an organization that has a constitution. We're an organization that has land that was granted to us, and our constitution gives us the Ethiopian flag. So we consider ourselves a government, because all governments have to have land, constitution, and flag. We have those. Our constitution is like a business-like document, as you would expect, there to organize and centralize communities. Our constitution has what we call locals, and we have 19 locals so far in different parts of the world. And to become a local, 25 members or 25 persons will apply for a charter from the International Council, and then from that application is accepted, then they would establish a local. Now I'm here today to really talk about the locals and what a local actually means and what a local actually does, and how ones in their communities can benefit from being a part of the Ethiopian World Federation. Like any organization, we have a preamble. We also have aims and objectives. Um, and then from there are different articles and sections and bylaws within our constitution. One of the articles, Article 6, shows establishing locals. So once a local is established, 25 members will elect an executive committee, and that executive committee is defined and responsibilities are outlined within our constitution. The executive committee is there to look after the business of the organization on a local level. You have a president, first vice president, second vice president, treasurer, financial secretary, sergeant at arms, and a chaplain, and 3 additional members on this executive committee. Our constitution also has standing committees. So you've got 11 standing committees, and those committees, just a few of them: sick committee, complaints and grievance committee, um, let's see, a banking committee, education committee, information committee. All the committees cater for all aspects within a community. So it's getting ones in the community to be a part of the organization. It's an organization, it's a working organization. So once you become a member of the organization, then the president would appoint you onto a committee, and you would start to work on that committee to provide the necessary services for your community. Now, there are benefits in the organization where you get to link and work with other locals around the world. You have an international council that assists the locals to grow. There is a membership committee, and that membership committee comes up with different strategies to recruit and to bring more members into the organization. I've been a member for 44 years, and it's an organization for families. It's an organization for ones who are single. It's an organization for ones who are elderly, and for ones juveniles as well. So what we find in our communities, wherever we are in the world as Black people, there's always issues either with housing, either with mental health, um, uh, finding the right job, education. All these things become issues within a community where sometimes it needs the assistance of the communities to make sure that the community is thriving. So being a member of the Ethiopian World Federation, it gives you a voice within your local community. Because of the way how the organization was registered in 1937, the constitution is recognized worldwide. So if you have a problem, then the organization can agitate on your behalf to any government institution anywhere in the world. And as we know, there are always issues that come up in our community, and sometimes we don't have the right group or the right organization to represent us for the benefit of yourselves or your family or individuals in your community. So that's one of the benefits of the Ethiopian World Federation. It looks after the collective. The committees that are established in a local looks after the sick, it looks after the vulnerable, and those who are less fortunate. So the committees fundraise to raise funds so that they can have the resources they need so that they can provide the necessary services to its members. So it's a way of empowering members. It's a way of fine-tuning members. We have a lot of our Black brothers and sisters around the world who have exceptional skills in administration, whether it be into running businesses, and all those skills are there to be used to benefit our community. We try to find employment in the best way we can for our members. We encourage the membership to enter into some form of business and do fundraising that can bring employment to the members. There's a juvenile unit that looks after the juvenile members, usually members under 18. There's a complaints and grievance committee. If some members are having an issue, then the complaints and grievance is there to mediate, to bring a resolution. Now, the Ethiopian World Federation is a Black people's organization. It's not a Rasta organization per se. A lot of the members are from the Rastafari faith, but it's an organization for all Black people. We have a chaplain, and the role of the chaplain is to look after the spiritual needs of the members and also the moral tone within the local. The local is required to meet, say, at least twice a month. That's the minimum. An executive committee can meet as much as they like within a month, but it is required for general members' meeting to take place at least twice a month. Within our constitution and bylaws, there is an order of business that each local will go through when they keep their meetings. One of the beauties of this constitution that His Majesty gave us as a gift is that we don't need to add anything to it or to take anything away from it. Everything that is needed to organize and centralize Black peoples is in that constitution. So we take great pride in knowing that. We take great pride in knowing that we can assist our Black brothers and sisters if they have any issues. We are able to support like ones in Haiti. We support ones in Haiti. There's conflicts going on in the Congo. There's different situations happening to Black people around the world. And we as the Ethiopian World Federation, we try to assist in whatever way we can, whether it be by writing letters to various institutions and governments, raising funds, keeping meetings to organize our brothers and sisters so that they can actually help themselves. So that's what the organization is really all about. It's about helping and strengthening communities. It's helping and strengthening our families, because sometimes we find ourselves in our communities where sometimes there's no practical help and we're left to our own devices. His Majesty established the organization to bring communities together. We find that the organizations that were responsible for that in our history, the UNIA, the Nation of Islam, and other Pan-African organizations, some of them fizzled out. Some of them wasn't able to recruit the younger generation to take their organizations to the next level. But we find that with the Ethiopian World Federation, we've been able to keep consistent within our work. We've been able to recruit from the Black communities around the world to keep the organization alive. So now we're in the year 2025, and repatriation and reparation is on all our minds, especially now with what's happening in America with Donald Trump and the rhetoric that he's using. His rhetoric seems to be one to bring the black man down, bring the black man right back 50 years or more, which we need to be taken very, very seriously. If we don't have a voice, then we get left behind. So it is a time now for us to consider what can we do to assist our families. What can we do to assist our community? And when you ask those questions, you like to know that you can find answers to those questions. I believe that the Ethiopian World Federation answers all those questions if ones take the time to read and understand our constitution and bylaws. Then ones will be able to see that there is a way forward, not as an individual, but being collective. I'll just read a little bit. I'll just read the preamble for our organization. It's we the black peoples of the world, in order to effect unity, solidarity, liberty, freedom, and self-determination, to secure justice and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage, do hereby establish and ordain this constitution for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Ones can Google the constitution. I don't really have enough time to go through the constitution, but I can say that I live in Ethiopia since 1992, and there is two locals of the organization in Ethiopia, one in Addis Ababa and one in Shashamani. Shashamani being the land that was granted to the Ethiopian World Federation in 1948. There are members from the Ethiopian community who are members of the organization also. We work to strengthen our lives in Ethiopia. We find that because we're coming from the diaspora, we need a voice. We need an organization to agitate on our behalf, and we need an organization that we can commit to and give our time to. As I said earlier, the Ethiopian World Federation, it's a working organization, so it's not an organization where you can just tell people that, oh, well, I'm a member of the Ethiopian World Federation and that's it. No. It's
My
about
brother, I
giving
want
your
to join
time.
you a little bit in the conversation because I know our time
Yes, go
speeds
ahead.
up, and I thank you very much for this presentation simply because it's timely. What we have is Black History Month, and I really wanted you on at this time because our show is being recorded, and I know these jewels of conversation had to be kept for a very long time. So I particularly wanted this conversation that you would bring to us to enlighten the youths and for those of our listening audience, seeing as well is Black History Month. If you have time, you stick around with us and then I'll bring you back on again. So I want my other guests to as well, if there's any questions that you need to ask about the Ethiopian World Federation, you can probably do so now while we have the brother on. His time is different from ours and he's sacrificing probably 2 o'clock in the morning. He's up. So I will give you all a chance to ask a few questions if you find necessary. So the floor is open for my audience. You can ask a question. Oh yes, you can. The floor is open. You can open your mic and ask a question.
Blessed love. Question. What security does the Ethiopian World Federation has to offer for black people against this terror which is unleashed on black people?
I think the network is playing up a little bit. But if one can still hear me, still,
Yeah, we can hear
it's
you
been a
clear. You
pleasure
can
to
go
come
ahead,
and
brother.
give a little insight into the Ethiopian World Federation. It's Black History Month. It's a time of reflection for Black people, where we're coming from and where we need to go and how we're going to get there. So Black History Month is a time of reflection for the Black community, for the Black man and the Black woman, to get a perspective of what and who we are.
Any other questions for the brother? Anybody else like to ask a question concerning the Ethiopian World Federation and what's on your mind? It's Sunday. You know what we do on this side of town? We relax. We ask questions. Marlon, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. President.
Okay. Well, I want to welcome you to the Sunday show, brethren. It's we the Black people of the world. We are one Black family, and Sundays we like to just sit, sup with the Father. What we do on Sundays, because any minute now, Sadie's just gonna slip into some scripture just like that. We do church whenever we inspiration kicks in. But we're happy for our brothers and sisters who are here. As I said, the women who are here are representing the Woman Auxiliary of Local 26. Happy to have Roseanne in the house. Happy to have Dushira in the house as well. And the little 3-year-old baby, because as I said, Sadie, we train them from 3 years old for the Federation. So we have the baby unit too. So welcome the young ones, the middle-aged ones, the old ones. But tonight I'm hanging out with the young ones because I'm doing what happened at the hip hop halftime report with Lamar Kendrick. This young man has been so brilliant in bringing a conversation which, if any one of us was given a platform, where do we start? You have 12 minutes to deliver 400 years of depression. Where do you start? So importance were his symbols that he used. The group of dancers were formed into the American flag, which split to represent the divided America. Now, some people were wondering how boring could the show be, because particularly I watched the dancers were all covered. There was no nakedness and boobs and butt running around, because when you want to tell a serious message, you ought not to be distracted by the nakedness of the body, because then your message will be well distorted. And Kendrick, the brilliance in his artistry, because everybody could rap, but you see where there was a difference in identifying an entertainer and an artist. It is a difference. People can go on stage and wind their waist like crazy and the whole house break down. Good enough. You made money by the door. Good enough. But what a waste of time when a Black man has an opportunity to stand before his people. When he sing 2 lines and we hear they're not like us, we don't like, wow, that's for the niggas. We taking that. And then we saw the pride of Serena dancing her heart out. And if you think that was about Drake, that was, oh no, I am one of you all too. Don't study my blonde hair and my white husband. I'm strict up, Crumpton. She danced so well, I'm telling you. It was a dance of a dance, because she's telling you, I love my black self. Don't take on what people say. Because when my boy Kendrick say, come forward, me are forward. And I saw the intensity within her dance and the joy in which she executed. And what she said was the best 2 minutes of her life. But I don't know about that, because I may have to ask her husband about that story. But you know how we do it on this side of town. It's Sunday evening, and we do it just for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. I was happy that our international organizer came on board, because a question was asked since we were on Facebook. And the question was a lengthy one too, from an Ethiopian young woman, beautiful women too. They're very beautiful on that side of town. She was just under 30 years old. So I had to have this question answered. And as I said, sacrifice was made. Our international organizer came out and he delivered for us. And we are celebrating Black History Month. Or do you know, for those who listen, we do Black History Year at the start of town because a month is just not enough to tell our story. Because every day we telling stories. So we love what happened with Kendrick Lamar. We love the fact that Samuel Jackson came on there. And when I saw Samuel Jackson, I was like, oh no. Because there are certain people that are placed in certain positions for a certain time. And when we saw Uncle Sam, who is normally represented by you know who, and Samuel came out and he said, no, 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 too loud, too ghetto. That's not the way they want it. If you want to play the game and survive, there are rules. But the conversation went on, and I love it when I heard that the revolution will be televised. You choose the right time, but the wrong guy. I said, okay, now I understand why they said, Sid, you need to pray for the youth. I said, indeed, we need to put our arms around. And like how we formed the ring in ancient times and put that youth in the center, and we will pray for this youth simply because when one could stand up and stand out, and you know the color of the skin. Well, we don't have that's really no apology we make here because oh no, you know what we do on Sundays. We love our black self. We the black people of the world. We celebrate that every day. But he is telling us, I make no apology. I'm going to play the game. But I want you all to see what the game is really about. And for those of us who love Tupac and we miss him, because we do, there was poetry, there was rhythm, but there was message. Until they water down the hip hop to bitches and hoes, and I say, I kind of throw that in my spirit. So I don't listen to them kind of garbage there because I don't really do them kind of absorption. So I put it aside until I saw the brilliance and the poetry and the delivery that was made. Now, some people is going to catch this thing by Christmas, and we do understand because it's a piece of pie so heavy to digest. I'm telling you, one slice can last you a week. A lot of people have different takes on what was said and what was done. But my brilliant studio audience, I'll give you the time for the floor. I don't want to call out no names, but the floor is open. Let me hear your take on either conversations. Okay, they're not like us. Who wants? No one is speaking tonight. No one wants to talk tonight.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll chime in and say
Okay,
something.
chime in.
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone noticed, but all of the performers were black people. There were no trace of white dancers. Everyone was black. And I think that's really showing the audience that we don't die, we multiply. There is a lot of us out here, and it's really our time to rise. We've been oppressed for so long. You know, Kendrick, like you said, you guys, your generation had Bob Marley, my generation has Kendrick Lamar. So yeah, the performance was breathtaking. It had a lot of symbolism in it, and it's one of those things that you can't watch one time. You have to watch it over and over and over again to really understand the message that's being conveyed.
Well said, young princess. And the thing about it is, I had to watch the story like 3 times because I really wanted to get the story, since I didn't even know that it wasn't a real record or some diss track. And I'm still catching up with the young people's conversation. But I saw the brilliance of poetry. I saw the fact that I love a great orator, and I love when a great orator can tell the truth because everything that was said, whether we like it or not, he was spitting some truths. And the fact about it is, in such short words, he helped us to understand a lot more than we would have liked to. And I am happy he chose that platform, the Super Bowl, to bring out that type of message simply because one can only do that once. There are some things in this life, only once it could be done for it to hold a more profound cause, for a greater cause. He sacrificed himself because he knows what time it is and he knows what it can cause. It was a make or break moment, but he said, I'm going to do the song. And he provoked and they said, you really going to do that song? He know what he was doing. I seem to be echoing, so I hope my audience is kind of getting a little clarity in it. So I want to say, anyone else would like to join in this conversation? Dr. Winborn, I know
Yes,
you watch the Super
yes.
Bowl.
I'd like to say something still, right?
Okay,
I,
bless.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not into the Super Bowl, and I don't really understand that kind of event in America. But seeing it on the internet and hearing bits and pieces, I see that black artists got the center stage, and I mean, they perform. They are artists in their own right, and they were given a platform. Now, what concerns me is once these young new artists get that kind of a platform, how does it benefit the communities? I mean, because it's entertainment for one, it's celebrating Black History Month, and at the same time, it was a white audience mainly um, at the event. So I'm really concerned that the liberation of Black people is not really being conveyed in the way that it should by these young artists. As young artists, I mean, everybody wants to, I mean, have a living and make money and have fame and all the rest of it. But you have those who are less fortunate within our community, and that upliftment of our communities should be more um, done by these young artists. That's my feeling. The organizing and centralizing of our communities so that we can all step up the ladder sometimes gets missed. And now that it's Black History Month, also, these are some of the things that we need to be really talking about. I mean, these young artists, I don't know this Lamar. If I ask my daughter or my grandchildren, I'm sure they'll be able to tell me who they are. But I feel that they need to be spending a little bit more time and effort to bring up our younger generation to understand the liberation struggle that has been going on for Black people in America for over 400 years or more, so that we can organize and centralize ourselves as Black people to better ourselves, especially in this new government that has set itself up in America. I'm not sure if I'm being heard. It looks like
Yeah, you're being heard
some
loud and clear. So
interruption
we're
is
just
going on.
waiting for you to wrap up your sentence
I'm
so we
being
can
heard.
have the other guests join
Yeah.
in. But we hear you loud
Yes.
and clear. And we know you're going to ask your
Yeah.
children and your grandchildren
Yeah.
who's Kendrick Lamar.
Well, that's my concern. There are, yeah, yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah.
we thank you,
I will
brothers. We
ask
give
them,
someone else a
but I
chance
feel that there
to
are too
chime
many
in.
artists out there. Um, yeah. Okay. Give thanks. I'll join back in a little bit later. All right. Give
Okay, we
thanks.
give thanks. Dr. Winborn, we know you saw the Super Bowl, so what's your take on some of the... We're not hearing you, however. You got to unmute yourself.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Loud
All
and
right.
clear.
So there's somebody that's listening in that's got the speaker on, so we're getting a little feedback. So if you're listening from on a speaker, turn the mic down on it so it's not picking up the vibe. Yeah, there you go. All right. So first, I want to say thank you to the international organizer for breaking out of his busy schedule to come and to visit the local of the international president. I feel blessed and privileged that he would come and spend time with us. So we thank him for that. Uh, the Super Bowl. All right. So I have been listening to the Super Bowl. I unfortunately I'm an old man that's very familiar with Kendrick Lamar. Uh, I have spent my time as a executive producer one part of my life for underground hip hop artists that specialize in conscious rap music. The music that don't get played on the radio because it's not talking about all the other things that everyone else is talking about. Kendrick Lamar has been able to break that barrier. And unlike other young hip hop artists, as the organizer has mentioned, lots of time the message is lost with street messages. What Kendrick Lamar did on Sunday was called for a revolution, and he did it in his own way. And he did it to wake up black people. He did it to let them know that the game is rigged, and that if we keep playing it the way that they tell us to play it, that we're never going to make it because it's designed to keep us in poverty. If you look and you look at, they were playing the Squid Games. If you're familiar with the Squid Games, you get some of that symbolism in there. And what was the Squid Game about? Where the rich and the elite controlled everything and had the regular people fighting over food. This is the path from where we're headed right now. What Kendrick Lamar did in front of 135 million people was tell black people, God is with us. You heard his lyrics. He said, God favors us this time.
This time.
This time, God is favoring us. The energy is behind us. And the other thing was, we don't need them. We have our own, and we can control our own. And although the beef was about Mr. Drake, and everybody talks about the pedophile, and they talk about the A minor, Drake is only the poster boy for the problem. And I think that what he was telling us is that we have what we need. We have survived everything that they've thrown at us, and we will survive this just as we have survived everything else. So I see the Super Bowl, this halftime show, as a call to action, a very serious call to action. And it was done on purpose and by design. That's why you ain't see no naked women, no twerking, no booties out, no bodies all exposed, everybody covered up because he's sending a message for us as a people. And I would encourage us to listen to that message and start to pull ourselves together because we know what's about to come down the pike. I hope you know. I hope you've been following what's going on. I hope you've been looking into the White House. I hope you've been looking at the things that Elon Musk and others are doing. I hope you've been paying attention to the laws that they're putting on the books. I hope you've been paying attention to the laws they're taking off the books. Pay attention. That's what the halftime show was about. Pay attention. And at the end, when he was hollering, everybody thought that he was hollering mustard, his friend name. If you listen closely, he was hollering mustard, meaning to come together, meaning to coagulate and come together. That's what that means. So there's a bunch of messages in there, and I hope that we were able to get them and that we can adhere to them and govern ourselves accordingly. That's what I got from the Super Bowl. Halftime.
This was wonderful and well said. We thank you so much, Dr. Winborn, for sharing this part of wisdom with us. And I too is hoping that they did not think this was some beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. But what an opportunity an artist used to tell his people in the face of white people.
Right.
This
He could have
is
did
what I'm
anything else.
telling you.
He could have been singing and jigging and jabbing and all the stuff that they do all the time. He chose not to do that. Won't be no sparkles. Ain't nobody dropping out of the ceiling. Ain't nobody flying across the stage. Ain't no bombs going off. None of that. Wake up. It's serious times. That's what we got.
Because wisdom is found in the simplest of places. So I give the studio audience an opportunity to join in with the
Yes, I
conversation.
do.
Welcome.
Blessed love, my brothers and sisters from the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. I think that they're getting the message what Bob Marley said. Help me free the people with music. Help me free the people with music. They seems to be getting it right now. Bob Marley was yelling out and bawling out. Music can organize and centralize the black nation. And they seems to be getting it now. What was hidden from the wise and prudent now revealed to the babe and suckling. So it is our generation, the younger people, who has to come and do it. We have been battered and been through many storms, but we're still here to show them and help them with our experience. So now they will take it more serious now and take it to a higher level. Help me. Help me. Bob Marley been crying out. Help me free the people with music. Help me free the people with music. I've seen in my days a lot of artists bust and turn big mega stars, and none of them try to use the music to organize and help the black nation to mobilize and centralize and progressize and whatever progress to come for us. No, they gone to the negativity because of vanity. But I'm feeling good for what is happening. So even I will also use the music to help free my people. Word, sounds, and power is all we have to get it together. Blessed love.
We thank you for your input in the conversation. The floor is open. My studio audience are normally very, very wise. So we want to say hi to someone else and welcome. The floor is open, young lady. Remember to unmute yourself if you want to join in the conversation.
Our mic is muted. She not.
Yeah, unmute your mic so we can hear you. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
At the bottom of the screen, unmute your mic.
Okay, we know someone want to share with us, but she's not coming through. So if anyone else like to fill up the space, we can still wait for the sister when she gets her mic unmuted.
Greetings, one and all.
Greetings.
Be with you all. It's an honor to be in your presence. Ever since last week, I've been happy to be a part of this conversation. Um, the fact that we're here openly expressing ourselves as far as our thoughts, what we think. The dialogue is where it begins. Word, sound, and power, as Peter would say, right? The dialogue is very important. If we look at most of the greats in the past, the dialogue is centralized, meaning Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all these guys, if you notice, they use dialogue, they use speech, because basically that's the most peaceful, one of the most peaceful way how to engage, right? So I think the music, as Peter would say, Bob Marley said, use the music to free the people. While he's talking, and I'm thinking about it, the Shima, she had mentioned Bob Marley, right, when she was talking about Kendrick performance, right? And ever since she mentioned it, I was thinking about it, you know, Bob Marley being a central figure. Bob Marley said in one of his interviews he could do many music, but he chose to do special music. This is one of the first and main thing that resonate with me. His ability to not be distracted by fame, not be distracted by money, not be distracted by even political figures. He himself fought against all these things. That's what he was letting us know, that, hey, we have to fight against these things. These are the distractions, you know. And just as how the older heads or the elders before us, they knew the ones before us, like Bob Marley and these guys, right? I'm happy that you guys, most of you guys are older than me. I'm so happy that you're able to connect with Kendrick Lamar, which is a younger performer, a younger representation. And this is where the power, most of our power is, because, the young ones are strong. The young ones are the ones who got to fight this revolution. The young ones are the ones who's got to do the hardest part of it. And I'm saying this, based on my inner thoughts and my feelings of what I'm supposed to do. When I'm saying the young one, I'm saying what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm looking at the elders as, hey, you guys know more. The longest liver, they see the most. So therefore, they have a lot of wisdom to share, especially composure. As the international organizer Ruben Kush was speaking, and I'm just looking, just listening to his story and thing, and he has achieved so much. Congratulations. And you are a real organizer, because in your speech, in your words, you've been stressing and emphasizing organization, centralizing. That's what the foundation, that's the core of what you keep presenting and saying. And again, I want to thank everyone that's here, because this is the organization, is individuals coming together. So the Honorable Dr. Sadi, the Honorable President Sadi Gomez, you have Ruben, Mr. Ruben Kush, Mr. Peter, and all you guys that's here, you have chose to be here because of a specific reason, a specific first purpose. You have decided to put aside your distractions right now. You understand? And this is the centralizing, by putting all our attention in one place, the dialogue. The dialogue, again, is where we pass on information from one to another. The dialogue is where we tap into understanding. When we talk about perception, when we talk about understanding, this is we talking now to make changes in the future. We're perceiving the future. You understand what I'm saying? So again, I'm just saying thank you guys, all of you guys, for being here, and you're contributing towards my growth. I won't be speaking a lot because I'm so
Thank you.
pleased hearing these things instead of me saying them. I'm so happy. You guys don't understand how happy I am to be hearing these things. So I just want to thank you guys again. All right.
Well, we thank you so very much. What we shall say, Cubby, because we know we are lions and lioness and this platform. We know our duty, and for the great young warriors that are coming, I challenge my 30 something year old energy. And I am telling you, my warrior spirit not dead. It gets getting stronger within the ages because I know we can't physically run out their front line. But all ain't gonna leave me back is no old lady. I frontline soldier and I will bust two shots same time with my young warriors. I just want that spirit to be surrounding me because the strength of the lions. And when we watch as the older ones, we could really gravitate towards what you all are doing simply because we are in a gifted situation. We were able to see the rotary phones and we now have iPhones. We are that great generation of the 50 somethings and 60 something years old who they have not killed yet, have not killed us physically or spiritually. So we are happy when we see you young ones that we could pass this piece of information, these jewels that we have secured over the years through pain, through hardship and sacrifice. And as I said, we're still around. So we are happy to merge with this generation to build that strength because we know what time it is. We have known for a long time what time it is, but the opportunity was not given to us because I say for our time, I want to, well, you know how I have to slip into the scriptures. So we're going to do David and we're going to do Solomon. In the days of David, there was war. In the days of Solomon, there was peace. Everybody making love, having babies. How much wives Solomon have? 300. Because Solomon had a certain period in his time to do certain things. In our time, all we did was dress up nice, make babies, fell in love, got married, and the children now look back and say, "What have you all done?" And really, we did nothing. After we had Bob Marley, we chilling until we saw a great hijacking, and then we see poetry in motion. So, Kendrick Lamar, I want to thank you because there are some 50 something year olds who just sat down and all they did was made love because it was the peace and love time. Children of the 70s, we have the big flower in our hair and we in love with everybody. We don't want to fight no war. But then we had Dr. Robinson time when we know the revolution was not going to be televised. Dr. Robinson, Big Papa, I welcome you. So for the young ones who are here, we have to give Big Papa time to talk. You know, when he show up, how we have to humble. But Dr. Robinson is a lady trying to get on with us.
I'm
If you
on.
unmute your
Yeah.
mic, you want to say hi? How you doing?
Ah, good. Good evening, each and everyone, and I'm grateful to be here. Um, my take on Lamar, I didn't really watch the Super Bowl, but I saw something just before prior to I coming on. I was watching it on YouTube, and my take on it, my take on it is the truth. The truth has been hidden in plain sight, and for me personally, I've even before I started to live in America, we know, at least me, I know the conditions between white and black and the slave trade and all these different things. These things was a given. We also was taught in school. So coming here and going through and seeing all these things, if we didn't wake up with civil rights and have something going on, we don't have to wait until Lamar says something. What we learned from the civil rights and before the civil rights, they're supposed to be carried on to our children and our grandchildren. So they will be very more equipped. But I'm glad he came on. But what he's trying to me, what he's trying to do is more or less wake us up because a lot of us still sleeping. That is what he wants us to be more aware of things what's going on today. But for some time our people of color said, we was kind of laid back. So it took, you see, I just say God exactly know what he's doing. It took somebody, God put him there intentionally for we to wake up. He did that deliberately for we people of color to wake up and say, look, it's time we get our act together and try and do, X, Y, and Z and get ourselves organized because we are the ones that really control. But we've been so laid back and depend on the system and depend on everything else, like we forget. So as put Trump there now, it's like, okay, everybody running and gathering information and trying to do this and doing that, whereas we should be doing this and we should be aware of what's going on. So even though he's there, it shouldn't really bother us if we were really seeking and trying to get things going. That's my take on this young man. But he did as what I saw, he did a good job. So that's my take on it.
We thank you very
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
Sister, we always enjoy you when we welcome you to the big family. And of course, I like to know that you're here this time to also hear our international organizer. So you could have learned a little more
Yes.
about the
Yes.
Ethiopian World Federation. So I'm happy that you were here with us. So as I
Yeah.
said,
Thank you.
I have my very advent listener. I will give you all the history. As I like to say, we are now on audio and video, but there's a time when we just ran radio. And see, me and Dr. Robinson, we have like 7 years in history, and we tango, we rock and roll, we dance the dance, we even do the crip walk, Dr. Robinson. So I'm telling you, Kendrick Lamar have nothing around us because we've been telling stories for 7 years now. It's not my first rodeo. So I want to welcome Dr. Robinson, as I affectionately call him the Big Papa, because when you have white hair like that and your face still looking beautiful and the girls want to marry you, something is good in the genes.
You
Dr.
know how to make a
Robinson,
man
I
feel
always
good.
tease. You better come on stage before I expose you.
You know how to make a man feel good. You know how to say nice words.
Welcome, Big Papa.
That's the Big Papa.
Welcome, Big Papa.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much. Peace and blessings to everybody. Um, it's so difficult sometimes when something is not totally transparent. Okay, when you talk about enslaving a people, selling them like furniture, I wonder how many people really can understand that. I understand a little bit because I grew up in Jim Crow, South Carolina. And if you
Hmm.
know what apartheid was in South Africa, it was the same thing, same exact thing. I was told I couldn't go to school, couldn't buy a house, couldn't walk down the street, couldn't go to the store, no niggas, no blacks, blah, blah, blah. It was that serious. But people can't register that because they're in this relationship. As a woman could tell you, if her husband's abusive to her, but he's nice guy to everybody else. And so when she complains about the abusiveness of this man, it's hard for people to believe such a nice man can be so abusive. Slavery was intense. The transatlantic slavery, the chattel slavery in America was intense. It was a deep, thought over, strategically planned system that supposedly went on for hundreds of years. The only reason Lincoln had to stop it is because white man was killing white man. He didn't give a damn about the black man. That's a fallacy. But it's hard for people to believe such a nice place like America, a melting pot, a democracy. Look, everybody lives like this. Everybody got this. Everybody got that. You caught more hell as a black person of wealth and education than you did as a black person in poverty and no education. You caught more hell because you were not supposed to have certain things. So it's very difficult for people to digest what we see now and what I lived. People don't want to hear it, what I say. They don't want to hear it because they want to romanticize America as this great place where everybody gets opportunities and everybody gets jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So I keep my history to myself. But I can tell you this, a long time coming. 400 years, the Bible says, after the 400 years, 2020, 2019, the captive will be free. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Check out the history in the Bible of the captives. America, same story. Right here in America, captives for 400 years, abused, called all kinds of names. The Bible said you're going to call him master, he's going to call you slave. But here we are now. It's going to come. Human capacity, the human being cannot be held down but so long. Some child is going to grow up. Some girl is going to grow up, and she's going to take up the mantle of the responsibility of where grandpa and grandma and mama and daddy left off. When I was growing up, 8, 9 years old, we were marching in the civil rights movement with Dr. King. We didn't have time to play in a park. I didn't have time to think about buying candy. I didn't have time to think about trying to date some girl. We were rooted in the fight, in the struggle. And as we are, we're not a monolith. We're all different people. African Americans are not a monolith. Some people came from better environments. Some people came from lesser environments. Some people were farmers. Some people were doctors. Some people were lawyers. Middle class, upper middle class, wealthy. We had the first child millionaire, 1913, Sarah Rector, 11 years old. They gave her some piece of land after slavery, and God let the oil popped up, and she became a millionaire at 11 years old. So African Americans, we know poverty, we know wealth, we know development, we know empowerment, we know how to come together, even though we're not a monolith, we're not organized in that sense. But when somebody come against us, we knew how to organize. A little different today with the young people today. And I'm so happy that Kendrick Lamar took up the mantle to tell the story in front of, it was like, they say it was like 200 million people. But my big take from it, when I went on social media, children in Africa was dancing, not like us. Children in the Caribbean was dancing, not like us. Children in Canada, children in Europe was dancing. I'm talking about warrior dancing, not just dancing like, they had choreography, they had intensity. I'm talking about kids 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe, and some 18 and 20. They were dancing with intensity, like the struggle is on, and we're going to take on this struggle. This is the international development that it made me so happy to see how that spirit, that warrior spirit, the Africans have a warrior spirit. Some people pick it up, some people don't. But there comes a time when everything comes to an end. That old saying, all good things come to an end. The white man got to learn, all good things come to an end. You can't hold back a sitting lion. You can't. It's a great people. African people are a great people. It's defined in our experience. It's defined in our DNA. It's defined in our spirit as Africans. There's a power within. But we have to learn, and I think that's when the division that he had with the colors and everything, we have to learn to come together in diversity. You got to learn diversity. Black people got to learn diversity. I've been in too many churches where if you ain't Baptist, you can't come over here, and you ain't Methodist, you ain't AME, you ain't speaking Spanish, you ain't speaking French, you not look like this, you didn't come from over there. Tribalism in this modern day society. We have tribalism, people. Black people got to understand, we got tribalism. If everybody go to Yale and Harvard and they only hang out with their group, tribalism. If everybody lives in $1 million home and is wealthy and we all hang out, tribalism. If all of us went to Yale, Harvard, and Princeton and we hang out, tribalism. There's different forms of tribalism that we don't recognize. Birds of a feather flock together. People feel comfortable in communities where they feel somebody recognize who they are. That's not the African heritage. That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with very diverse. When you talk about black people of the world, the diversity has to be taken into consideration. We coming in different colors. We coming in different languages. We come with different perspectives. We come in with different ideology, different feelings. But one thing we have a common enemy. I say this to all black people: let's go to war. And when the war is over and we won, then let's sit down at the table of brotherhood and sisterhood, and let's discuss those things in which we want to develop for us. It's too much confusion now. It's too many people got their hand in our plate.
And
Yes.
sometimes, the aliens will take us and they bring us back. Oh, here we are. Dr. Robinson, we truly enjoying you because we like to know that there's that bridge that is formed as we have our young, resilient warriors with us. We have our old soldiers of wisdom. And of course, we have Sadie, who is neither young or old. So I'm not even going to claim, So you all can snatch me to the young side. And, I'm in the right age because I understand what it is for the wisdom of the sages because I hang out with the older people. That's why I'm so wise. But I'm hanging out with the young people. So I know the hip hop thing. And I say, they're not like us. They're not like us. I was, So I understood the music. But the details of having to put a message when you only have 12 minutes and you're going to tell a 400-year-old story, brilliance. And he have raised the bar for hip hop because now I'm wanting to see who's coming with what. And as I said, there were some up and coming ones, but when they were getting too much or too close, they had to just drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. We gave them a handler and now they have everything else. But they can't bring no more message because why? We silence you. And that is something that was done as well in the hip hop community. But we see a bold faced young man who's going to say, here what? Nobody in pay me a cent for the Super Bowl. This halftime thing is free, and I'm going to use this 12 minutes. Uncle Sam, you want to come along? And yeah, we put Serena to distract everything, but I'm telling you, Serena dance a dance because she understood what it was all about. And for that, I was very happy with because I was like, we didn't lose her. She's one of us. So those few words, they're not like us. We don't have to hear anything else. We silently go in a corner and know, I think he's talking about us niggas. What you think? And we go whisper that to each other because we know this whole song and dance was really about us. And I am happy that artistry was on display because we have artists and we have entertainers. Entertainers, it was the case where they give them what they want. Because that year, when that little boy pulled off Janet Jackson blouse and some nipples was exposed, I and all fell back because I said, no, no, no. They did not sew the garment right. I am here as a fashion designer. But I think somebody purposely did not base on that part. So when Justin Timberlake was told in the dance and he pulled her, there goes the breast outside. That was just to embarrass the black woman. That was purposely done. You know how we do that on Sadie Sundays, we drop it out of the rug. But since Dr. Robinson, Kendrick Lamar, he destroyed the rug. We don't even have a rug to put things under anymore. Because Sadie Sunday is not the same anymore. We used to have a rug. We took things from under the rug, then we put it back. But then came this young man and he just destroyed the rug. He was like, we talking it as it is. So now, no more rug. Once the thing come up, we talking it. And we talk truths in this side of town because the truth will set us free. We're not trying to be popular, but I'm telling you, since we're talking truths, we get an audience because people want the refreshment of truths. If you know you have some lie and some story, two doors down the road, please, as Kamala was saying, not here. But here, we deal with the Christ concept of living. We deal with the King concept of living, and we deal with truths. And truth is what there is for us to follow. Those are the rules, just the truth. You want to come on, you want to talk, the truth. If you think you have a different kind of Fantasy Island, as I told people, but the plane is coming. But then if I give you all that story, you might just find out how old I am. So I'm not going to talk about Fantasy Island. But that tells you short, man.
Yeah, don't
Dr.
talk
Rabbit,
about Fantasy Island.
you're not going to throw
You're
me out
telling
of
on
here.
yourself.
I am challenging my 30 something year old
It's a
energy, right,
plane.
Marlon?
It's a plane.
Marlon, you know where we used to hang out, right? In Queens, Marlon, you know, that we used to hang out. See? Marlon's only 35,
Well,
so
you look
he
good.
knows
You
what we're
look very
talking about.
good. Don't worry about it. You look
And
good.
Shira, you know, you know when we hang out in Church Avenue. You know I was only 20 something. So all right. Don't call me out, people. But all the same, I am happy because we have strike goal. That's why I'm in my goal tonight, because I know that was a deliverance by that young man. And I am just thinking, artistry again. When you see we talking about somebody, you see, we from the West Indies, you know, we don't understand. We talking about somebody and we see them coming. You can't stop talking because the person know you're talking about them. So now it's a bold face. We just continue talking. So he look at the camera and he say, "Hey Drake." Well, I almost passed out. I was like, no. I swear Kendrick is a Trini because that's only Trinis behave like that. But talking in front of your face. I said, oh gosh. But then there's a part when he said about your partying and your face down in the bowl. So I know when you're snorting coke in your face white because you're powder in your nose. So he called out all kind of pedos. And I told you all to Google the word last week. You see how it come? So if you all had Googled the word last week, you'll be able to understand the show. But he said, I think you like the minors. And you know the sanctity of children. I told you all they are doing something right now upon the earth. They're sexualizing children, and there's all right. But Drake, a poster child for this kind of thing, you know, when these things happen, I try to watch genealogy because we like to separate. I say, well, you know, he's really half white, so you know, but when you're running, you know, 5-star black, you have to have a different behavior because the black man have to be responsible for certain actions. I hold the black man in such high esteem that anytime a black man make a mistake, I just ask him one time, how come you getting that? That is for the white people. Oh God, black people don't do that. You know? So this is something about my black men. I telling all you one time. It have certain things you cannot do. It will break my heart because simply it's not supposed to happen because it's not in your DNA. And Kendrick Lamar talk about DNA, and you know we like to do the DNA story on the side. We are God's children. We are children of the King, and we have to function as such. We are a royal family, and this is why we keep the Sunday show so we could celebrate our royal self. If you know when we're done here, we just go home and stay proud to be black. You know, we don't have no audience for that because this is where we lift our egos and those of our children. Because I just tell my children, I say, "Oh, look how you're black and you're beautiful," you know. So these things they know. So, like my nieces and them, you don't have to walk around the road looking for ego. They said, no. Auntie tell me we're beautiful since we're three. I said, that's right. So, you know already, coming from my lineage, we black, we beautiful, and we celebrate the black family.
So
I
here's
tell
the
them the
question.
only color I want to be is a little more black. So the Kali out of Africa. Yes, Dr. Winboni, I'm going Burkina Faso. Yes,
Here's,
tell
here-
me.
here's the question. Well, one thing I want to point out is that I cannot remember a Super Bowl where the conversation after the game was more about the halftime show than the actual game itself. You go over the internet, you can hardly find anything about the game. You got to remind yourself, like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
who
Eagles
won?
won, right? Like that's right, the Eagles won because we're not talking about the game. We're not talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about Kendrick Lamar and
They're
what
not like us.
he did. He made history and boldly in front of all of those white people. The thing is, he knew ahead of time what everybody would be saying. That was the reason for Sam Jackson and Uncle Sam. He said ahead of time, they're going to say it's too loud. They're going to say it's too reckless. They're going to say it's too ghetto. He knew already. He already had planned it. He had already manipulated. He knew what everybody was going to say. Now, here's the question. What are we going to do? Are we just going to sit around on the internet and pontificate about the mysteries of Kendrick Lamar, about the mysteries of the halftime show? Or are we going to really use this as a call to action to get ourselves together? Is this just another fantasy? Is this just another good feel moment within the Black community? Are we going to feel good for a little while and then we're going to go back to our PlayStations? We're going to go back to whatever it is that we were doing before? Or we going to come together and we're going to make this thing real? Because it's real to them. Just in case you don't realize it, it's real to our oppressors.
Oh, yeah.
Now they know. They know that we know. They see us coming together. They can feel the energy, and it's something different this time than other times. It was like, first it was the election. After the election, we woke up as Black people. We said, all right, we get it. They not like us. We don't have nobody on our side. So we out. We're going to look out for ourselves. We're going to protect ourselves. We're going to come together ourselves. All right? We had already made that determination. All over the internet, you got Hispanics, you got Asians talking about, we don't know why Black people not helping us. We don't know why they're not coming out and protesting with us. We don't know why they're not marching with us, because we done. We done. And we see what's going on.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. We doing it ourselves. So one of the things that we can do is, we all got money. We can start directing our money. We can start directing our currencies. We could do that by cutting off those companies, those businesses that's not supporting us. Don't give them our money. The Target, Walmart, all of these companies that went along with this DEI stuff, all of these companies, if they supported Trump, don't give them a dime. Let them know that we have the economic power to do the things that we need to do. All right? Listen, as a people, our money has come to, I think it's $1.6 trillion. $1.6 trillion we have come through our pockets. But the problem is, it don't circulate within our communities. So they say in the Jewish community, the money circulates 24 times before it leaves the community. In the Asian community, the money circulates 16 times before it leaves the community. In the Black community, there is no circulation. It's got 6 hours. 6 hours before it leaves the community. We just pass through. The money just come through us. We're nothing more than just consumers. We don't own nothing. We don't have no communities. We talk about community. That ain't your community because you don't own nothing in that community. That's your neighborhood. You may live in that neighborhood, but that's not your community because you don't commune there. You live there and you pay somebody else so that you can stay there. That's not your community. So we got to wake up. And so even before we start coming together and getting on platforms and do this, that, and the other, we can have an effect just by not spending our money with those people that's not supporting us. If you're not supporting us, then bump you too. And we take our money to where we ought to be taking it. We ought to find ways to make sure that we are buying Black and that we're circulating that money, because everything we need, we got it amongst ourselves. We've been brainwashed to believe that if we go somewhere within a Black business and we don't get the most out of that business that we want, or we don't feel as though we were treated correctly, We'll walk out of there talking about that's why I don't do business with black people. I ain't never going back to another black establishment. But you're going to the white establishment, they'll follow you around the store. They want to see your receipt. They want to search your pocket. They want to follow you to your car. That don't bother you. You'll go right back the next day. No matter how they treat you. Why? Because you've been brainwashed by colonizers. When we wake up, and I believe that the Super Bowl, Kendrick is part of breaking the spell. That the spell is being broken. And that we're moving into our time. But we got to wake up, we got to know it, and we got to know that it's not a game. This is not a game. This is not a game. They are killing us. You can do it, you can get the stats, you can get the news every day, you can see how many black people have been murdered. All right. So until we wake up and realize that all of this little pettiness that we dealing with, who like who don't like who from here, who from there, who from there, while we going through all of that nonsense, we dying. Do the math.
So I just want to say, turn the TV off now. Turn the TV off. That's what I want to say.
Turn the TV off. Turn that TV off. Because you being programmed. They call it Why you think they call it programs?
Exactly.
They programming you.
Exactly.
I just want to add. I'm
Be a
sorry.
consumer.
Let our young voice inside come to Shira.
No, I just want to add that in college I studied mass communication. I studied media, and we studied radio waves. And in that class, they were teaching us how news stations use certain images, certain colors to trigger our emotional state. And also with telecommunication, like the radio waves, they submit a certain megahertz that will make you at a certain level. So kind of circle back to what Kendrick was saying, turn the TV off. We have to turn the TV off. We have to remove ourselves from thinking that the media is there for us when it's not. The media does the opposite. It's the opposite. It's there to trigger you. It's there to, make you feel a certain way. So, yeah, the media is not your friend.
Well said, Princess Shira. We call it the mean deer because it's really not our friend. It's a mean monster in that box. So we do understand. And then coming from the young voices, they too understand of the program and the spell that was cast upon us. But I want to say, as Dr. Winborn said, I want to piggyback on this conversation. Kendrick Lamar is one that has been used in that spell breaking of the black race. I would like to say he himself, with all his artistry, I don't think he know the impact he have placed upon us because with 145 million people watching, what about 145 million, but they are going to tell their friends. So we just double that figure, multiply that figure by 4, because the conversation has gone on so much. It's all in Australia. So again, I want to leave
Yeah.
the floor open as we
They
move
got it
on.
at 200 million now worldwide. That's what they were saying.
Plus,
Wonderful for that addition of the news. Give thanks.
plus they left out the ones that wasn't count.
Exactly.
The ones that's out of view, the ones that don't reveal themselves, but they are a part of it. They are watching, they're gathering.
I mean, social media wise, it made a big impact. You
Coming
know,
through
I
a
mean,
little
like it
bit.
was all over the world. They were kids was dancing and with that in, you know, like I said, they were dancing with purpose, not just jumping around dancing trying to be cute. They were 6, 7, 8 years old. I was surprised. You can feel the spirit of their dancing because that's what Africans do. They dance when they lose the war. They dance when they win the war. It's a dance. It's a warrior dance as well that the warriors do before they go out to fight. So, you know, I'm looking at these young people and I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 years old young people. They can't make up and pretend something. They were serious and intensified with their dancing. They were trying to bring a message. I watched these Ugandan children dancing, Senegal, you know, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Ethiopia, you know, Ghana, Nigeria. They dancing with a purpose, as well as in the Caribbean, dancing with a purpose. Canada. I mean, they were all over the place. Black children were in Brazil. You ever there you saw black children, they were dancing. You saw on social media, if if you're into social media, you get that kind of connection, you will see there's internet. And one thing about today, we can communicate in other countries in minutes and seconds. We can see what's happening real time, live in other countries. If you go to social media, you can see what's happening. And so people are aware, and people just like the Honorable President Sadi Gomez said, people are aware that it was an emotional experience that had a meaning to it, not just dancing and rapping and whatever, but a message to the people. And I think one of the most powerful messages is that we might have a diversity, but we have to come together. You know what I'm saying? We might, sometimes it's very difficult for people of different backgrounds and understanding to come together, but sometimes you got to let down your guard. That old saying, what's that old saying? You walk in a man's moccasins, walk a mile into a man's moccasins before you can understand where he's coming from. And so we got to stop seeing things peripheral vision and see the whole picture, because there is a diversity in us that's our greatness. And that's what the white man, Europeans hated about us, is our diversity, our ability to be so diverse but still come together at some point. But that's our strength. Diversity is our strength. Languages is our strength. Different religions is our strength. Different ways of communicating verbally is our strength. That's our power. And we got to learn how to harness it. Like brother First Vice was saying, Peter Morris was saying, Bob Marley had a message that resonated with the world, and he brought that message to everyone. So everyone is affected by the message. I had the pleasure of being with him personally, and just a dynamic brother, and just a powerful person. You know what I'm saying? And it enhanced my life as a person, because I always saw things from a different perspective, because I came from a different place, different family structure, different everything. So even amongst my own people here in America, there was some things about people think, sometimes you think, well, why don't they do what I did? I suffered. It's like sometimes, you feel like sometimes you suffer the worst conditions of ever, and the Jim Crow laws in South Carolina. So you go to New York and brothers don't have Jim Crow laws, but they still doing whatever they're doing. And you say, why they can't do what I did? Why can't they just get off their behind and do blah, 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 or go to school or get a job or open up a business? A lot of times it ain't that easy for everybody. So a lot of times you got to look at a person from there. And then people look at people like myself or other people and say, well, oh, look at him. He think he white. He think he better. Or he talking too proper. Or he act like a white boy. That's how they divide us.
Somebody thought you was white, Dr. Robinson?
Yeah. See how light I is?
Listen, I know the organizers trying to get in. I know he wasn't around the clock is ticking, so we want to give him a chance to
Oh,
express.
okay.
Yeah,
I want to welcome the organizer. Organizer, you have 3 good minutes because as we
yes,
wind down,
y-
we want to just give everybody that chance. So
yes.
you have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanna. Yeah, all right. Give thanks. I just want to say, give thanks to Local 26 for keeping these sessions weekly. But what I want to say, based on what Dr. Winburn was saying about consumers, right? I believe that black people around the world have been taught how to be addictive, to be a consumer. And that addiction is very difficult to shake off because once you become a consumer, right, then you're living from paycheck to paycheck. You're doing all kinds of illegal things, juggling to raise more money so that you can become more of a consumer. So consumerism is one of the biggest problems within our community. We're not able to save money. We're not able to trust each other because of money. You know what I mean? So if we can get to understand how to be a good consumer, right, then I think we stand a better chance of actually organizing ourselves in a better way. If we look at all the different cultures that's around us, and they're thriving and they're running businesses and they're looking after each other, and you know they're thriving because they understand how to be a consumer. And I believe that we as the black community, we're really wild. We want to consume, we want to buy this, we want that, even though we know we don't have the funds to do it. And that's where, to me, our biggest problem is. You know, I would like for all of our black youth, once they reach a certain age, they can save their money and go to the continent. Go on a holiday to the continent, see what's out there, see what you can do, see how you can fit in. But I really believe that the consumer, how we consume as black people, is addictive, and that's to me one of our biggest problems. Give thanks.
We give thanks to the international organizer.
I just want to say the 28th, February 28th, they're calling for a blackout. Black people don't buy nothing. Don't go nowhere. Don't do. I know it's very difficult, but if you can, they don't want no black people to buy nothing internationally to show our economic strength. And that 1 point whatever 2 trillion, Dr. Wimborne, they say now is $3.2 trillion now of economic power. So, but they're trying to do a blackout February 28th. Don't buy nothing. Don't do nothing, and that will bring down the index of the consumer index, and they'll see the power that we have as well. So everybody keep that in mind.
We
Wonderful.
will share
Yeah,
and
but I
spread the
believe
news.
we're too addicted. We're too addicted. All right, to buying because from I've been a young man. Every couple of years, the same reasoning comes up: buy black, boycott, 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 and we don't make no. It doesn't make no difference. There has to be a real discussion amongst how we buy and how we consume and have responsibility, not just for us but for the next generations that's coming up, because our children and our grandchildren, they want everything that's out there, and they can't be told that you can't have it, because we need to do this or we need to do that. You know what I mean, we need to stay together, we need to, we're, it's lacking. We're just totally addicted to consumerism. So yes, it's good to say um, black out and buy black, but the message isn't going out there enough. It's not going out there enough. The examples are not being set. All the you could put it all the reggae artists, all the hip hop artists, or all the artists that have made it in life. They're addicted to consumerism in such a way where their lyrics or conscious lyrics is not affecting the younger generation. The younger generation is looking at what they've got
International
more than what
organizer, I
they're
have to
saying,
interrupt you. I
and
have
there
to
needs to
interrupt
be
you a little bit with your
a
conversation because
turnaround. There needs to be
International
an
organizer,
awakening.
let me
You know what I
interrupt you
mean?
a
To
little bit in
deal with this
conversation.
consumerism that we don't want to talk about. That's a very serious thing, and that's what's holding us back as black people.
International organizer,
President Trump
we
wants to
thank
make
you.
America white again, and he started off doing a good job. Black people are in fear, especially immigrants. They're in fear,
Yes.
and
Loaded
one of the
up.
International
fears is that they're going to
organizer,
get deported without
I,
nothing,
I want to interrupt you a little bit,
and
please,
everybody
because
wants
we are
something.
winding down to almost the top of the hour, and we have about my
I don't know if
engineer
I'm
was
being
six
heard at the
minutes left.
moment. I'm seeing a few ones
Yeah,
reconnecting,
I don't
but I
know if
think
yes,
he,
I've said what I
I,
needed
I
to
don't know if
really
he can
say
hear you.
on that.
yes. But what I want to say, however, this is Sadie Gomez of Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, coming to you live and alive. It's Sunday evening. We don't believe that 2 hours can fly past so fast, and we have like 4 minutes left. But what we do coming to the end of our time, we let our musical unit give us something in sound to grace us. So is our first vice here? First vice?
Blessed love.
Yeah, we like for you to take this moment and give
Oh,
us
okay.
something in sound as we're coming close to the top of the hour. You have your 3 minutes, and I will have mine. I think we have
Okay.
4 minutes left.
This one named Invisible Tears. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. That's why me now forget how where me come from. Now forget me Ethiopian tradition. Now forget the Africa we motherland. You mad? David, Solomon, Menelik, Haile High. The condition of my people make the gods wanna cry. They see them asleep on sidewalk and piss up on them bedside. When all the rich and famous, all them do is drive by. Them no business who want live and them no business who want die. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. That's why me now forget how where me come from. Now forget me Ethiopian tradition. Now forget say Africa me motherland. No. Cry for me brothers and sisters when me see gone astray. No for them astray on the devil's highway. But a lightning and thunder upon all filthy ways. Listen where the ancient are sing. Whoa, now forget how we may come from. Me now forget me Ethiopian tradition. Now forget say Africa the motherland. You mad? You mad? Now forget how we may come from. Now forget me Ethiopian tradition. We not forget say Africa the motherland. No, invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Invisible tears I cry. Blessed love. Rastafari.
Blessed love. We like you to just give us one more because we have a guest in the house, so we want to show up a
Okay.
little
You
ourselves.
need
One
another.
more.
One more. Okay. This one known as the New World Constitution. The New World Constitution, equal rights and justice to each and everyone you know. The New World Constitution. All right. Amendment 1, freedom of speech and movements on the land to each and everyone. Amendment 2, love and respect all your neighbor for true. Amendment 3, education and power and we want it for free. Amendment 4, the old and the age and the infant secure, you know. Old and the age and the infant secure, you know. Old and the age and the infant secure. New World Constitution, equal rights and justice to each and everyone you know. New World Constitution. All right. New World Constitution, equal rights and justice to each and everyone you know. New World Constitution. Amendment 1, freedom of speech and movement on the land to each and everyone. Amendment 2, love and respect all your neighbor for true. Amendment 3, education and power when we want it for free. Amendment 4, love and respect. Yo!
Well, we thank you so very much, First Bite, as we winding down to the
Equal
top
rights
of the
and
hour.
justice to each and every one, you know.
We
Bless them
coming
now.
exactly to the close of the hour, First Bite.
Respect
We want
and
to
honor
thank
to each and every one.
everyone for
Yes.
coming
Aye.
out. We want to
Bless
thank
the Lord.
our international organizer because the hours fly so fast. Funny how much time goes by when we're having fun. I want to thank my sister Desma for coming on. Marlon, thank you for coming on as well. Dr.
Big
Winborn,
up
we thank
yourself,
you,
Local
Dr. Robinson.
26. Rastafari
And we
bless.
that's what love. And we want to say, let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. So we give thanks, a wonderful Sunday family. Join me again next time on Sunday. You know how we do it from 7 p.m. to 9. It's a one love family. Thanks for all coming out. And I say, funny how time fly when we're having fun. So see you all again.
God bless.
God bless. To studio, put on the computer.
Oh, all right. So, all right.